All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Teal Tech Tips and Tricks, or T4. The purpose of this series is to extend Teal Tech's mission to educating the digital forensic community online. My name is Kent, and I'm the coordinator of this project. Just some ground rules: you can chat on the right, you can post to everyone, or privately message myself or Maggie. If it is related to the content, I advise you to post to everyone, just so everyone can see it. Seems I have an echo, I'll speak closer. I'd like to introduce Maggie now. She is one of our instructors at Teal Technologies. Her background is both law enforcement and digital forensics. For 21 years, Maggie was a trooper for the Massachusetts State Police assigned to a detective unit. She handled both caseload and conducted digital forensics. And so now I would like to introduce Maggie to continue on with our presentation.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, and thanks for tuning in today. This is going to be a quick intro on SQLite Forensic Explorer. So I'm going to do a little PowerPoint presentation, and I'm also going to do a walkthrough of the software. So SQLite Forensic Explorer is what I'm going to be focusing on today, and it is part of the Sanderson Forensics Toolkit, which is composed of SQLite Forensic Browser, SQLite Forensic Recovery, and SQLite Forensic Explorer. So it's 3 software tools in one. In my opinion, Forensic Explorer is one of the most underutilized tools for SQLite and SQLite data analysis. Some of the highlights that this software will have when you're using it is that it will display the SQLite database at a glance. So it breaks it down into its structure, and it has it visually represented on a screen in different segments. It's great for navigating through the database so that you can go from page to page and record to record just with a click of your mouse. If you have a record that needs to be validated, you can easily go in and just click through the software application and get to your user data or your record to validate the existence or non-existence of a record. It's going to show you the data at a byte level. So there's a window or a screen that's going to give you the hex and its ASCII conversion, so that you can look at it at a byte level. It supports SQLite databases as well as the WAL and journal files associated with the database. And one of the features that a lot of people really like is that it automatically decodes the variable length integer data. So variable length integers in SQLite are Huffman encoded, and Sanderson's Forensic Suite, specifically Explorer, will automatically decode the variable length integers for you and show you the total bytes or the value of that record. SQLite databases work off of a B-tree structure, and that B-tree structure is outlined within the software, and I'm going to give you a demo of that going through the different pages. It can allow you to go from the root of the database through all the different levels or tiers within the B-tree structure to get to that record, which we would consider the user data. It'll show you the difference between the interior table tree pages and the leaf table tree pages, so that it'll show you again that B-tree structure with the user data being found on that leaf table tree page or pages. And it also will give you a visual representation of the SQLite tables with its columns and rows of data. One of the things that we'll also do is it'll decode the first 100 bytes of an SQLite database. I call this the admin section or the admin portion. And this will allow you to be able to get information like the page size or the number of pages in your database, or your total number of free list pages. So there's a lot of really great information that's housed within this first 100 bytes, and this is decoded as well in SQLite Explorer. So for the example, I downloaded the Pokemon Pokédex database from GitHub, and I created the select statement where I was trying to find the ability of Levitate in the abilities table. So my goal is to maneuver through this database and find within the abilities table the row, ID, and record that's going to explain or list, it doesn't really explain it, it just lists that there's an ability called Levitate. So if you take that and you bring it into Forensic Explorer, into Forensic Browser, it's going to show you the columns and the records. So it gives you the ID column, which is the row ID of 26. The column identifier is going to be the ability of Levitate. And I want to find that record using SQLite Explorer. So I'm going to validate the existence of this record using Forensic Explorer. So this is just a snapshot of the software itself. And now let's go over to Forensic Explorer. So this is the database brought into Forensic Explorer. And if you look up here in this top right-hand corner, it starts out with SQLite Master. Now, these other windows change depending on what I'm maneuvering through and what I'm clicking on. So the very first thing I want to highlight is my SQLite Master. And down here in this section where it has all the pages with the page numbers, this is going to be my B tree structure with my interior and my leaf table tree pages. And this section right here, this dark green color, is going to be my first 100 bytes. So it breaks down the byte by offset. It gives you the length and it tells you what it is. And then it also decodes it to tell you what the value is. So for instance, if I highlight this first one, it's going to tell me that my page size of this database is 1024 bytes. And it tells me that at offset 16. And if I go over to the left-hand side, sweeping for 2 bytes big endian, I have 0400 in hex, which is going to convert to 1024, which is going to give me my page size. So it shows me the hex, and it shows me the decoded data in this middle section. So this is going to be my SQLite Master, which is going to be the very root of my database. Starting on byte 100, I'm going to go into the first interior table tree page, and this is going to be the root of my database. This is going to bring me to the creation of my database. So if you look over here, it has an interior table tree page with my leaf pages down on underneath. So I can go over to my page 1, which is my first page, and then this is going to bring me to the creation of my database. So the creation of my database, this is going to be all of my different tables. This is going to be the creation of all of my indexes, all of my triggers, everything that I need to make up this database to have it function properly. So as I click on these leaf table pages, you can see that down here in this raw data, the data changes as well. And in this center section, the yellow and the green change as well. Actually, the blue changes as well too, but the yellow and the green are my individual records. So I'm going to look for the creation of my table called abilities. I just happen to know that that's going to be page 250. So I looked it up so I didn't have to scour through while I'm doing this live. So if I click on page 250, down here I have my raw data. So this is going to be my offset and the creation of my table. And right here is my table abilities, 252, create table abilities, and so on. As I highlight this, I go over to my hex, and I can see in my hex, it says create table abilities, and so on. So I've gone from the very beginning of my database, which is my SQLite Master, on page 1, down to page 250, which is the creation of my abilities table. And then this number right here, this value, this 252, is going to be where I'm going to find the root of my abilities table. It's also listed in hex here, and it'll show me if I highlight this section in the middle in green. If I go down to this byte right here, this is 00FC converted is 252, which is my next page that I'm going to maneuver to. So I'm going to go now to page 252. I can also cheat by going up to here on this top section. Since I know I'm looking for my abilities table name, I can click on abilities, and it also says root page 252. So if I click on abilities, I am now on page 252 in my B tree at an interior table tree page, and this is now the root of my abilities table. But I still need to find Levitate. I still want to find that record that says Levitate. So underneath my interior table tree page, I have 5 child pages. And one of these 5 pages is going to hold that record of Levitate. Now, these just happen to be in chronological order, but pages within an SQLite database are not necessarily housed in chronological order for data, but they will be in numerical order by row ID. So if I click on the first one and I scroll down and I look for my row ID of, I believe it was 26, I'm going to look for Levitate. Row ID 26 is on page 1257. I'm going to scroll down to row ID 28, and there's Levitate. So this is my Levitate record within my Forensic Explorer. Now I can look in my section in the middle, and I'm going to highlight this record, and it shows it right here. So this green section up at the top shows that my data relating to this row ID of 26 with this record data, and then it also highlights it in the hex on that particular page. So I am now on page 1257 within my database, and my record is here. So I can individually click on each one of these, and it'll show me what it is, what the decoded value is, and where it's housed in hex. So it shows me my full payload length, which is 13. It tells me what my row ID is, which is converted into 26. It shows me my total payload, which highlights it in green over in hex. And then it shows me my data related to my record header, my serial keys, and then it shows you the values of my actual record. So the row ID has a null value. And here's my string of Levitate. And then it's an 8-bit integer of 3 related to additional data within the database. So I can easily maneuver through my entire database with just a simple few clicks. So to start again, I went into my SQLite Master. So if I go back to the beginning, I started with my SQLite Master, which is the beginning or the root of my entire database. And that brought me to the creation of my abilities table, which if we scroll through manually, it was 250. And this is my creation of my abilities table. So I have my root of my database, now to the creation of my abilities table. Abilities table is created here. It has, in this green section in the middle, it breaks down this record, and that 2 bytes of data tells me that I have to now go to page 252 to go into the root of my abilities table. I can do that up here manually, or I can jump to it if I'm going to do this alphabetically. So I'm here at abilities. So now I've only jumped to 3 pages. This is my 3rd page. I'm going to go to my first page and look at my data, go to row ID 26, and find Levitate. So I've just validated the existence of Levitate within my SQLite database. Pretty simple. It has all the decoded values, and it shows me all the jumps that I need based on going from page 1 to my final user data or record page on my leaf table page. So that's really it for the demo. It was going to be a quick demo, and I will certainly go back and answer any questions that anybody has related to SQLite Forensic Explorer. But I did want to talk about our online course. We usually do our training on site, but due to COVID-19 and total chaos in the world, we have changed our on-site class to an online format. And this is a little snippet of the first online class. This is going to be taught by Sam Brothers, who is he developed this SQLite class for Teal Technologies. It's going to be in 2 segments. There's going to be a 5-day class broken out into 2 segments. The first segment is going to be 5 days, which is the intro to SQLite forensics. And then there's going to be a subsequent portion, which is going to be the advanced version of SQLite forensics. I don't know if those dates are firmed up yet, but this is just a little snippet for you on that.
Yeah, if I can just interject, yeah, those
Sure.
are the correct dates. Yeah, May 11th to the 15th. And yeah, we have limited seats for this online training because I'm really excited for this because Sam Brothers, the creator of this course, is teaching it. So you get direct access to him. So, but seats are limited for this course.
If anyone is interested in the software, you can go to tealtech.com or tealtechcanada.com, and you can get some quotes for the software. This is by far, this software suite is my choice for SQLite forensics and SQLite data analysis. When I do SQLite analysis on any SQLite database, this is the tool that I use. So I highly recommend it. We can give you demo versions of it if you're interested in trying it out for a demo, or it's also available for purchase and renewal.
Okay, now is the time for the giveaway, right, Maggie?
Yes, we are doing a giveaway. We were going to give away 1 year's license, 1 year subscription license for the toolkit.
Mm-hmm. So the Forensic Toolkit includes the SQLite Forensic Explorer, which we just looked at, as well as the Forensic Browser and SQLite Forensic Recovery. So how this is going to work is we are going to ask a question that came from the presentation, and the first person to answer it in the chat will win the 1 year license. So the question is, what method do SQLite databases use to structure and maintain their pages?
Drum roll. Should we do the Jeopardy Vanna White? I don't know. If anybody wants a free year's subscription, go ahead and put their answer in the comment window. Oh,
we got it.
Person.
Yep. Okay. The first person to come through was Hubert. I'm not even going to try your last name. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But Hubert, you're the winner. Congratulations. The answer is B-Tree. And it looks like we had Oh my goodness, like 20 people.
Everyone's getting it right. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I apologize to everyone who didn't win, but congrats, Hubert. We will get in touch with you.
All right. So if you have any questions and you want to post your question, go ahead. He says, awesome. That's great.
We had a question earlier before everyone was putting B-tree. Let me see if I can dig it up.
There was one question from Fraser about updates, and I can address that. We are, it has been a very lengthy process for us to acquire this software. So Teal Technologies has actually acquired Sanderson Forensic Suite from Paul Sanderson, and we have been in the process of getting it ready for an update and getting it ready for an update. I guess that's what I'm going to say. So it is in the works. However, there has not been an update in some time, and I realize as a user that there are bugs in the software, and we are logging every single one of them, and they are going to be addressed. So there will be a software update, but I just don't know when that is going to happen. It's in the works. I just don't know when it's going to be completed. And with COVID-19, I know a lot of things have been put on hold, and actually that's probably one of the projects that have been put on hold due to lack of the ability to figure it out. So, but it is in the works. I can promise that. Where can we download the updates? That is a good question, and I'm not sure I actually know that. So when you purchase or renew your software, I know that we send out a link that has the downloads. If you take our class, you also have a link for the downloads. I don't know that those are publicly available, but if you purchase the software, that would be an excellent question for info@tealtech.com, and I'm sure they can send you out a link for that. Can you walk us through the purpose of the 3 tools in the suite? Sure. So SQLite Explorer was the one that I highlighted today. And again, I truly believe it's one of the most underutilized SQLite tools. SQLite Browser is probably the tool that, and I can go back to that. This is SQLite Browser. And this is probably the tool that you're going to use most often. And the third tool is SQLite Recovery, which is excellent for doing recovery on damaged databases, binary files, and dumps. You can put a whole dump into recovery. However, SQLite Browser has a lot of the recovery features built into it. So if you're looking for deleted content or orphan data or any data that is not live within your database, you can attempt to still recover that using SQLite Forensic Browser. So Browser is the tool that you're probably going to use most often. And then Explorer is really great for quick validation of records. You can also look at deleted or recovered data within Explorer, but it's much easier to navigate through using Forensic Browser. And then Recovery is for recovering deleted or damaged artifacts from deleted databases or partial databases or binary files. Hope that answered your question. Can the tool export blobs or handle encrypted databases? So yes, you can export blobs, and it actually will Explorer won't. Browser will. Browser will allow you to export blobs, and it will also give you a visual representation within the software itself. Does it handle encrypted databases? Depends on what you mean by encrypted. If you're thinking something like a complex encryption, no, but there are some features within Browser that will allow you to visually see the data that's been represented in a different way, but not necessarily encryption. Will the slide deck? Yes, the slides will be available. Kent, could you explain how that works? I'm not really sure how that works.
Yeah, so I send out the slides. I export the emails and send it through our email service provider. If you don't receive it, just send me an email. You should all have it from the webinar invites. Otherwise, it's kent.hoffman@tealtech.com. I'll write it down, or you can askinfo@tiltech.com. Either way.
Let's see. I don't know if there's any other questions. I'm sort of scrolling through the chats. If anyone has one, feel free to. How much? There was a question about how much is the product. That was answered. And if you want a quote, you can email info@tiltech.com or info@tiltechcanada.com, and they will gladly get you out a quote for that.
All right, let's give it about 30 more seconds. Yeah, if you want
the.
Yeah, just to reiterate that we do have a SQLite course online coming up in May 11th to 15th with Sam Brothers, the creator. Seats are limited, so please go ahead and sign up, and you can be able to be part of our flagship online TealTech courses.
Okay. Oh, here's another question. The same. Is the creation of a table the same as the creation of an artifact? So the creation. So I don't want to get too much in the weeds because this wasn't meant to be an SQLite class. However, databases, SQLite databases, are made up of several things. One of which is a table. Inside of that table is columns and rows of data that make up records. So when I say artifact, I would probably refer to an individual record within that table. So if I were to explain it, I would say that there's a record which has a row ID. So the slide that's up has Levitate on row ID 23, and I would consider that a record or an artifact. That's the way I would explain it. I would say a record of row ID 23, Levitate, generation ID 3. So are they the same? I would say no. A table would be different than the creation of an artifact. An artifact I would consider as more user data. So think of an SMS.db where you have a text message and you have a message being the artifact that you're looking for or the record that you're looking for. I would explain it that way. I don't know if that was clear. I'm hoping that was clear, but I would say no. An artifact is more like a record, and records are housed inside of tables. How does the deduplication feature work? The deduplication feature is in browser. I don't want to get into a demo on browser. I actually don't have it up on my computer right now. But there is a deduplication feature where you can, if you have duplicitous records, there's an option to uncheck that so that you can see only the one record. There's also an option in recovery where, in the recovery feature within Forensic Browser, where you can actually get a new row ID for each individually recovered record, even though the record itself is a duplicate record. If it's found multiple times, it'll give it a new row ID and it'll assign it as a new record. So I hope that answered that question. I think that's all the questions. So thank you so much for tuning in. It was our pleasure to be able to present this to you today. I hope it was helpful. I hope that we were able to enlighten you on SQLite Forensic Explorer, which again is one of my favorite SQLite analysis tools. And thank you very much. Be safe out there, and I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maggie, this is your second time doing your presentation. Really appreciate it. Everyone, thank you. Stay safe. Next week, we're going to have Perry again, and he is going to present his presentation is called How to Find That Elusive EDL Point.
One last question. Is the demo fully functional? Yes, it is. The demo is a fully functional license, and you'll be able to use all the features as if it was a paid license. Okay, thank you, everybody. Take care.
All right, thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.